Hey, it's Montana. And there is a fan on in the background. I can't do anything about that. Okay, so lilsimsie's shell challenge, I feel like I cheated. I know technically I didn't cheat. I didn't change any of the walls on the shell. I just made it a secondary building. Okay, so my first attempt at this, I definitely cheated. You can see me try and do some things with it and then realize I want to add more walls. Like, I just want to go in a weird direction with it. My thought, okay. I guess I should start at the beginning. I was a hardcore Latin kid in high school. Like, it was all I did was Latin. All the time. Latin. And, the way that Kayla finished her house and the direction that I seemed to be going, this one, which was like weirdly Mediterranean, originally I put the arches around the back to do sort of a Roman inspired open area so that I could get more floor space out of this. And then I started trying to build a compluium and an impluium, which is a rain collection system. And once I was determined to build a traditional rain collection system, I kind of went off the rails. Like, it was just entirely unreasonable. Once I started doing that, we were a mess. And once I decided to do that, I basically decided I was building a Roman home. That was the beginning and end of it. I was building a Roman home. So I did. And you can probably see in the thumbnail and you'll see in the screenshots that this really doesn't look like the shell, and it's because I took the shell and I moved it to the back, and I used the shell to make a servant's quarters for my traditional Roman villa. Not the best plan I've ever had. It's a little bit of an odd choice, admittedly. It's a little strange. Even now, looking at the finished thing, I'm really not sure why I didn't just build a Roman villa and then do the shell challenge somewhere else. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this is where I am definitely cheating. I just built a room onto the back of it. That's not how this works at all. Yeah. No, I stop with this idea, though. I definitely do make them two distinct buildings by the end of this. Anyway, as I was saying, I probably will do another build with this shell and just do my usual, like, traditional suburban, because it'll follow the rules. I wanted to do something really out of the box and eye-catching, but it was just straight up cheating. Eventually. But I don't think my finished build was cheating. I do stand by my finished build as not cheating. It's just that this first iteration definitely was. Okay. While you watch me figure out that I'm definitely cheating and then solve this problem, I'm going to take a break from this mammoth narration and instead bring you some corporate motivation. Alright, have fun. How'd you like that corporate motivation? Yeah. Alright, so that second one there was called Small Guitar. I don't know, did it feel small to you? It seemed like a normal sized guitar to me. Okay, so I have, at this point in the build, seen the error of my ways. And made the servants' quarters a distinct building so that I was not touching the show. And I still am not touching the show. The shell is its own thing. It's its own being. I didn't cheat. That first room that I furnished, I did try and furnish these as traditionally as possible, so I'm not sure quite how functional this build is for Sims. I'm relatively certain, like, I did my best to make it functional. I think it's decently functional. But that first room that you saw me furnish was a traditional triclinium. So instead of a dining room where Sims can sit and eat at tables, it's couches. So I have that's basically decorative. It's just kind of an extra seating area. And then out in the garden, I place those patio tables. That is a more reasonable place for your Sims to eat. In this bedroom, I have sort of like a cordoned off area for the wife in the situation to get ready, maybe have servants back there with her. So I put, like a mirror and a desk and a dresser back there. A lot of these elements are going to be absurdly traditional, so even though I usually spend hours scrolling through decorations, it was even worse this time. There was even more decoration scrolling. And I decided I wanted a chair at the vanity. So, there we go. Yeah, I think that's everything of note. Just letting you know that if something seems weird, it's probably traditional, and I'm being kind of a stickler about it. Good times. Alright, I'm gonna go find some more corporate motivation. Okay, so the servants' quarters is very sparsely furnished most of the way around. Most of it is very sparsely furnished, but the kitchen is decently nice because the servants do cook for the whole household. You notice there's no kitchen in the villa proper. This is the only kitchen space on the entire property. This is me realizing that I'm gonna need, if this is to be a functional lot, I'm gonna need some sort of like bath scenario. The problem with that being Romans traditionally did not bathe in their homes. So my like classics history heart was really struggling with the idea of putting, sorry, I'm getting a little zoned out. Been a long day in quarantine. I was really struggling with the idea of putting a bath in a Roman home. But I compromised on that by putting the bath in the servants' quarters, and then I blocked off, the view to the rest of the servants' quarters using some dividers. While I was fighting with the roofing here, I think the issue I was having was that it didn't count, because I had put those holes in the roof previously when I was trying to make this functional as the main house. It stopped counting this upper floor as a room, and thus the roofing hated it. So I kind of gave up on the roofing. But what I was saying was that the point behind putting the bath area in the servants' quarters is, one, that they have to leave their house to go to the baths. And, well, their house proper. And two, then the servants are right there. Traditionally, your servant would do most of the work with the bathing. So that was my intention with that. But other than that, like I said, these were very sparsely furnished. There's not going to be a lot of decoration, especially in a servant's quarters or in a bath. So there really isn't a whole lot going on, which I also feel like does a disservice to the shell, and is again why I kind of want to do another shell build with this shell and see, because this idea kind of got away from me. Anyway, yeah, and upstairs, this is the servants' bathroom. So again, it's very sparse, very cheaply furnished, not very interesting. That was our final corporate motivation for the day. I hope you feel motivated from a business standpoint. Really not sure why there's a whole category of royalty-free music called corporate motivation, but I'm down for it. I was trying to fill some more space in the servants' quarters. You'll see I put down a little bit of painting memorabilia. Because, I put an easel in there. And a little meditation stool. Just things that it seemed like they could do to pass their time. I fought a little bit with whether or not to put in some of those stone pieces, but I thought I used these... Ooh, I should know what they're called. Are they frescoes? I don't think so. These stone pieces, these specific flat pictures, kind of all over the place. I used all of them at least once. Because that was a pretty common, because I don't really have any mosaics to speak of, which is really what would have been on the walls in a Roman villa. I sort of leaned that direction. And then I fill a lot of space with plants, like I always do. What was I going to say about... Oh, yes. Aside from those, I think they're frescoes. There are a lot of other stone block pieces from Jungle Adventure that I really considered putting in, but I thought it would kind of clash with the aesthetic I'd already built. It would make it look too ruined, and this looks like a villa that people currently live in, which makes... it would make very little sense to have it look like ruins, just as like an accessory. Yeah, it took me a long time to work out what I was gonna do on that wall. This is my little seating area that I think your Sims will actually use. As you can see, I filled in the green area in the garden with a proper garden. Roman gardens, specifically, were some of the first to take into account plants from all over. Like any sort of plant that they could get to grow, they would grow because they'd conquered so many areas. So they were one of the first places to have unique, varied gardens and decorative gardens and the like. This seating room on the left of the compluium, it goes straight into an office area, which often would have been the case. There would be sort of a mini room before you got into the true office of the patron that lived in the home. And I just liked the idea of it looking like a cheesy waiting room, so that's what I did. I just gave him a cheesy waiting room outside his office. I actually really like the way his office turned out. As far as not having much clutter, that made sense. I was decently happy with how the villa space turned out. This was my split-second stair decision. I actually don't remember if I left the stairs in. I think I did. It just looked like too much of a ledge, even though I know it doesn't look like any less of a ledge with the one stair, but... yeah, I spent most of this build trying to figure out what I was going to do on the outsides of these windows, and I found these little planter boxes, and what I really wanted to do was there are trees, and I think you'll see me pull them out in a minute, that have similar, these trees from City Living that have similar planter boxes on them, and I really liked them and the contrast, but they clip through the roofing. And roofing is my nemesis, so I didn't fight with the roofing. I just put some low-lying flowers around them instead. Which I like. I like to make things look a little bit more natural. But with the garden on the inside having been so well kept and groomed, I sort of wanted some more tamed garden on the outside, but that didn't really happen. These paintings from City Living are so odd because they all have different frame colors on them, and I like them very much, but they look silly in a well-lit room, because you can tell that all the frames are different colors. I believe I put a world map. Yes, I put a map in here of, it looks like aptly near the Mediterranean. I put in this stone piece, and then I did rugs, the same laundry day rugs I always use, because I love the laundry day rugs. They're just really good multi-purpose, like, wicker rugs. I feel like we need more of those, like, neutral, interesting rugs, because I just put them everywhere. And if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think I put real rugs in the servants' quarters. I put the, like, floor stains in, but I didn't put any real rugs down. I just didn't want to put too many comforts or decorations in the servants' quarters. And here I'm just doing my terrain paint, my usual terrain paint. I put in, I don't really touch on the pools. I felt like it was looking very bare from the front, but I didn't want to stick things on the walls because they really wouldn't have. It would have been, honestly, there would have been a storefront in front of most of these villas, so you would have gone through the shop to the respective shop owner's home. So I didn't want to put too much on the front that wasn't like advertising, but advertising wouldn't have made much sense because most people don't know that most Roman villas would have been the back end of a shop. So I just didn't put anything on the front, and instead I added those pools with plants to either side. Oh. Wait, is this the whole end of... Oh, okay. Sorry, I might cut out that shot of me gallery handling things, but I might not. You might see that. And these are my screenshots. I'm going to do my usual spiel. Subscribe, like the video. Again, if we ever get to 10 views, I will do accents. Not that we're getting more than 2 views per video right now, but seriously, I'll do voices. You don't even know what you're missing out on. Anyway, have a good day. Have fun with the shell challenge. I really enjoy seeing everybody's builds. I think this will be a really fun one with the stupid diagonal everything. Maybe I'll do another build with this shell. Who knows? I didn't cheat. This wasn't cheating. Subscribe.